Good morning, friends. Day 14. 14, we made it. 14 days. Tomorrow's Friday. We got this. We've got a whole weekend. We're doing good. Okay, so today we are learning all about a frog's life, its life cycle. That is going to be your first packet, your text talk. But before we get started, I've got a fun little video for you. So I'm going to try to get it up, okay? All right, here we go.
I'm a frog. I'm a frog. I have 4 legs and live in a pond. Swim in the water and stop to spawn. Lay my eggs there in the pond. I change and grow like this. It's called metamorphosis. I'm an egg. I'm an egg. I don't have gills and don't have legs. Lay in the water, grow and grow. Soon I'll hatch and be a tadpole. I change and grow like this. It's called metamorphosis. I'm a tadpole. I'm a tadpole. Gills and mouth and feet I grow. Look at my tail with my tadpole friends. Soon we'll be tadpoles with legs. I change and grow like this. It's called metamorphosis. I'm a tadpole flag. Only to move and bend, swim and grow and do my best. I'll get 4 legs and be a froglet. I change and grow like this. It's called metamorphosis. I'm a froglet. I'm a froglet. My tail is shorter, but not gone yet. My legs are growing and getting strong, ready to hop and be a frog. I change and grow like this. It's called metamorphosis. I'm a frog. I'm a frog. I have 4 legs and swim in a pond. I hop and grow and lay new eggs. My frog life cycle starts over again. I'm a frog. I'm a frog. I'm a frog.
All right, I thought that was super, super cute. And I thought it went right along with what we're learning today. And I'll tell you what, I just thought it was a catchy little song and I thought it was super cute. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pull up and read through our reading passage for today. So here we go. It's called A Frog's Life. And I have mine down in front of me. It's fine to read on the computer, but I'll tell you what, I have the most difficult time doing it. Hold on, technical difficulties. There we go. Okay, now we got it. All right, sorry, friends. All right, so I'm going to read from the paper in front of me, but you'll be able to see it, okay? So here we go. A Frog's Life. From egg to frog. Watch a frog grow. What would your life be like as a frog? You would have to know how to swim and hop. Frogs are amphibians. Amphibians spend part of their lives in water and part on land. Most have smooth, wet skin. Most amphibians hatch from eggs. Learn about the life cycle of a frog. A life cycle shows the stages in an animal's life. Number 1, egg. Most frogs come from tiny eggs. A mother frog lays eggs in or near the water. Frog can lay thousands of eggs at once. The eggs are in a large clump. A jelly coating makes the eggs slippery. That protects them from being eaten by other animals. Number 2, a tadpole. A tiny tadpole grows inside each egg. A few weeks later, the tadpole hatches. A tadpole lives in water. It breathes using gills. It uses its long tail to swim and moves like a fish. Tadpoles eat tiny water plants called algae. Number 3, froglet. During the next few weeks, the tadpole grows legs and toes. The tadpole's gills grow smaller, and the tadpole starts to grow lungs. It swims to the top of the water to breathe air. The tadpole starts to look more like a frog. It's called a froglet. Number 4, a frog. The froglet's tail gets smaller and soon disappears. Now the frog is an adult, leaves the water, and lives mostly on land. It breathes using lungs. It eats insects, worms, and snails. Mother frogs return to the water to lay eggs. Then the life cycle begins again. So let's look at the questions now, okay? We're going to look at the questions and then we may go back if it says to pick a section. Normally you'd read these questions first. I'm just going along as we go, and we're going to read the questions now. So if you need to go back and listen to the passage, you can, okay? So according to the text, what does a life cycle show? A, the eggs that amphibians hatch. B, the tadpole that grows inside of each egg. C, the stages in an animal's life. Or D, the tiny egg that most frogs come from. Number 2, the text lists and describes the stages of the life cycle of a frog. Which of the following shows these stages in the correct order? A, egg, tadpole, frog, froglet. B, egg, tadpole, froglet, frog. C, egg, froglet, tadpole, frog. D, egg, froglet, frog, tadpole. Question 3. Frogs eat different kinds of food during different stages of their life cycles. What evidence from the text supports this conclusion? A, tadpoles hatch from eggs. Adult frogs grow from froglets. B, tadpoles live in water. Adult frogs live mostly on land. C, tadpoles breathe using gills. Adult frogs breathe using lungs. Or D, tadpoles are tiny water plants called algae. Adult frogs eat insects, worms, and snails. Question 4. Read these sentences from the text. A mother frog lays eggs in or near water. A tadpole lives in water. An adult frog leaves the water and lives mostly on land. Based on this information, what can you conclude about where a frog lives during different stages of its life cycle? Would it be A, at the beginning stages of its life cycle, a frog lives mostly on land. Towards the final stages of its life cycle, a frog lives in water. Or B, throughout all stages of its life cycle, a frog lives in water. Or C, at the beginning stages of the life cycle, a frog lives in water. Towards the final stages of its life cycle, a frog lives mostly on land. Or is it D, throughout all stages of its life cycle, a frog lives mostly on land? All right, let's go to question number 5. So as we go through this, I'll start with question 5 right there. All right, what is the main idea of this passage? A, life cycle of a frog has 4 main stages. B, tadpoles use their long tails to swim and move like fish. Or C, a jelly coating protects from frog eggs from being eaten by other animals. Or D, amphibians spend part of their lives in water and part on land. Question 6. Read the sentences from the text. A jelly coating makes the eggs slippery. What protects them from being eaten by other animals? What does the word protects mean here? Is it A, makes them easy to find? B, makes them hard to find? Or C, puts in danger or harm's way? Or D, keeps safe from danger or harm? Number 7, choose the answer that best completes the sentence. Most frogs come from tiny eggs. A tiny tadpole grows inside each egg. Blank, the tadpoles hatch. Would that word that fills that be A, meanwhile, B, then, C, before, or D, instead? Question 8, where do most frogs come from? Support your answer with evidence from the text. So make sure you go back to the text. Okay, let's see if we can get question 9 and 10 up here. Oh, it didn't pop up. All right, so I'll just go back to the text and I'm going to read question 9 and 10. Explain how a tadpole becomes a froglet. Support your answer with evidence from the text. Okay, so where do you think you're going to go find that answer? I would assume that you would go to section 3, froglet. Okay. Number 10, explain how an egg becomes a frog. Support your answer with evidence from the text. Okay, what section do you think you're going to go to there? I'm not going to tell you the answer this time. I want you to go through and find it. All right, so now we're moving on to mountains. That is what you're going to be doing in your reading today. And if you look behind me, I have on my TV screen a picture of some mountains. So it says, question number 1, use the words to fill in the blanks. Tall, taller, tallest. Okay, so Mountain Everest is very blank. It is the blank mountain in the world. It is blank than all other mountains. Number 2, mammals in the mountains. Mammals that live in mountain habitats have thick fur to protect them from the cold. Many mountain mammals, such as yaks and marmots, have dark fur. Dark colors absorb more light from the sun, which helps to keep them warm. Some animals, like mountain goats and snowshoe hares, have white fur. While they do not stay as warm as animals with dark fur, the white fur helps them to blend in with the snow to stay safe from predators. Why do some mountain mammals have white fur? What is a disadvantage of having white fur? Make sure you go back into your text. Remember, underline. All right, number 3, fill in each blank with the correct contraction. So you're taking 2 words and you're putting them together to make one. It says, I would not want to meet a mountain lion. What word would come out of would not? How can we combine that? She has climbed this mountain 3 times. How can we combine she has? They blank make it to the summit. It says will not. How can we combine will not? Question 4, which sentence is written correctly? I will read the sentence once because it is the same sentence over. You just have to know which one is written correctly. So question 4, it says, Mount St. Helens is a volcano in southwest Washington. Okay, I'm looking for capitals. What is it going to have at the end? It looks like they all have a period, so you know a period's going to be there. So really, capitals. Which one's capitalized correctly? All right, number 5. What does it mean to make a mountain out of a molehill? Fun fact, the youngest person to make it to the top of Mount Everest was Jordan Romero, who did it at age 13. Question 6, rewrite this sentence to make it better by adding 2 adjectives and an adverb. The girls climb the mountain. On the back of this paper, write about a time when you or someone you know made a mountain out of a molehill. Ask your parents that. I bet they know that. All right. We're going to go down. This is your reading passage that you're going to use. You can use any book you want, or you can use the one I'm reading. I'm wearing my shirt today. I've got my Basil shirt on. So you can use that one as well. I understand not everybody has books at their house. All right, so day 14 of your cursive packet. Not everything lost will be found. I keep my high hopes on the ground. Despite what we're taught, more often than not, what goes around just goes around. Okay? And then you have an extra field trip that you are going to work on. It says, your principal has extra money for your class to take a one-day field trip. Think of the field trip idea that would be fun and interesting for students. One that would also have some learning and education in it. Write a letter to your principal explaining where you would like to go. Be persuasive in your letter. Remember, you're trying to convince him or her to pick your field trip idea. Okay? And then we have some clockwork. Got some good clockwork here. It's some questions for you. The hands on my clock are not close together. The hands on my clock show that the time is earlier than 5. What time does my clock show? Then question 6 on there says the hands on my clock show that the time is exactly on the hour. The hands on my clock show that the time is midnight. What time does my clock show? Number 7 on there, the minute hand on my clock points to the 12. The hour hand on my clock shows a time before 3. The hour hand on my clock shows a time after 1. What time does my clock show? And then you have some multiplication practice. Remember, the number 1 question says 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5. That's called repeated addition. That is also multiplication. So you could do 5 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 times 5. Okay? You guys know how to do this. This is definitely some easy work for you. We've been doing this since the get-go. You have this. You have this in the bag. I know it. All right, so I'm going to stop sharing my screen. That is all for today. If you guys have any questions, don't forget that you can email me, or well, you can email me for sure, but you have my cell phone number now. Text me, call me. I'm here for you. Do not struggle with this. Parents, if you don't know it, please feel free to call me. I had a parent yesterday call me. They had no idea what they were doing in this one section. Completely talked her through it. We got it. And now that student's good to go. So please feel free to call me. All right, guys. Love you all. And I will see you tomorrow, same time, same place.